Tell me when. We're going? All right, I'm going to clap. That means we're going.
All right.
Game face. Hey, welcome to the Fireside Tattoo Podcast. I am Jake. This is Rich Wren. That's not as easy to say as I thought it was going to be. Rich Wren.
It's a nice alliteration.
Yeah. And we're at Evergreen Tattoo Invitational in Eugene, Oregon. So have you been out? Is this your first time at Evergreen?
This is my second year here.
Okay. In a row?
In a row, yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, it's beautiful out here.
My favorite convention so far.
Really?
Yeah.
What about it? What makes it your favorite?
I just love that, you're treated like an artist and you're treated with respect, whereas a lot of conventions I've been doing for the past, decade, it seems to get tighter and tighter and tighter, and they give you less and less and less.
Yeah.
Where here, I come here and they, you're treated like you did just, fly all this way out. Here's a place to relax.
Yeah.
Here's some food. Not even saying about getting things for free, but to be able to say we appreciate you and we know you eat like shit because you're a tattooer.
Yeah.
Here goes some food.
Yeah.
And it's good.
Yeah. I didn't make my way over to the VIP booth or whatever, or room yesterday.
Wings and pulled pork yesterday.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice to do that today. If you guys didn't notice, for the first time in Fireside history, we're 160-something episodes in. We both are wearing the same hat. I feel like one of us should flip ours up. I've never been able to pull that off.
I can't pull that off.
No. We, not too long ago, what's the company? Ink Addict sent some stuff just to see if we wear it on the show or whatever. They have the big hats that say ink across them. I was like, yeah, I'll try. And they're like, no, man, I have to have this bill. That's the only way.
I like it because it just gets out that light a little bit.
Yeah.
And you don't have this huge thing blocking everything else.
It doesn't pinch your head like baseball caps.
Not at all.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm glad, man. I rarely run across anyone else that wears the bicycle cap. So all right, let's talk about tattoos for a second, or talk about drawing. What's your drawing background?
I've always, like most people, drew a lot when he was a kid. And as I was coming up, I kind of always knew that I was going to be an artist, didn't know what kind of artist. Did graffiti a lot when I was younger, did mostly freight graffiti, so the more unusual type. It didn't really have boundaries because I'm from Philly. Yeah. Philly people tend to be this is Philly style, you must know this. So I gravitated more towards freights because it didn't really have a distinct style. And then I went to art school for glass blowing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I got my bachelor's in glass blowing, but in order to pay for college, I tattooed full time.
Oh.
So I worked full time and went to school full time to get the benefits of grants and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you do anything with glass blowing, or did you ever? Have you used it?
I for a little while there, I was doing some private lessons here and there. Somebody would find out, and then I would take them to a studio, and I'd just have them pay the hourly rate.
Okay.
And then I would just, make them have fun, teach them what it's like, because it's addictive.
Yeah.
But realistically, it's not something I can do. I own my own shop.
Yeah.
And you think that means you get more time off. But no, that means you're there 15 hours a day, 12 hours a day, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Do you have your own glass blowing setup, or does it require a professional kind of studio setup for the most part?
I went to school for glass blowing. I'm not a flame worker or a torch worker or a bench worker. So a furnace has to run nonstop for 3 to 5 years at a time.
Oh.
Yeah, it's called a widow maker for that reason.
Oh, wow.
Because you have to keep it going 5 years at a time.
Really?
Yeah, because you have to break it down. The glass eventually leaches through the bricks and tears it apart from the inside out. So you have somebody else do that, and then you pay them to borrow their time.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so no setup for me.
Yeah. Wow, that's crazy. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, totally different.
Yeah. So as far as your work, I kind of flipped through your Instagram just to refresh myself on the kind of work you're doing. And the thing that jumped out at me, especially with some of the most current stuff that you posted, is you use you use line really interestingly. You use it a lot as texture inside of some of the pieces. They're very illustrative, and you're in a lot of bright color, and then you're using a huge variation of line weights, and then some real kind of soft linear stuff inside, like gray lines that are real thin. You do a lot of textural stuff.
Yeah.
Is that something that you've? Did you come from more I guess graffiti? You use a lot of variety in edges. Is that where that came from at all, or do you think? It's
No, I think it came from more My old boss, Brian Donovan, he passed down some information to me that somebody gave him some advice and told me that, that there's a lot of sharks in the ocean and they're all going for the blood. And he said, go for the blue waters. And what he meant was, about a decade ago, that's when soft tattooing, hyper-realism, and then people not using line work anymore started happening. And he said, go for the blue waters.
Yeah.
So I completely ignored the idea of doing something soft. Still use it occasionally in my own work, but I focused on always using line work because that was me. That's what I liked, and I didn't try to force myself to do anything else.
Yeah.
And I just think over the years of focusing on using line work, I stayed away from that bloody water of all the people going realism, going realistic, and focused only on line work, and that being the most important part of my work. And I think that's where that came from, was just the constant experimentation. And then I've been tattooing for 15 years. You see it all come back.
Yeah.
And then what I was seeing was when it was coming back, it still looked good.
Yeah.
And I never went away from it. And I stayed using lines. And now, I'm not saying realism and soft work has gone by, but it's been a decade. People now realize that you either have to do it perfect and right for it to last forever, or you do lines, and lines are big again.
Yeah.
Finally, neo-traditional is big. Regular Americana traditional is huge. And that's why I always stayed on doing those, and knowing that even if the color were to fade, I know those textured lines that I do in a lot of my work is going to stay.
Yeah.
And that's where it came from. I just kept it up.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an interesting approach. I wonder if you noticed as the industry was kind of moving towards a lot of painterly, softer kind of thing. Do you feel like that you separated yourself early? Do you feel like your style became recognizable? Did you see it pay off in terms of more clients walking through the door or anything like that? Or
not really.
Yeah.
Like the common person, they go to the closest shop to them a lot of the time. And I feel like they just saw that I do really bright, bold work, and that was what they're attracted to.
Right.
I think that's what kept me going. And that, as for a recognizable style, I'd say, although you could probably recognize the tattoo I did 5 to 10 years ago, I would say I really came into my own in the past 4 years and really started to focus on the subject matter that I want to do.
Yeah.
And I think that's where I'm getting more noticed than the actual technical side.
Yeah. Do you find that people are coming to you more for work that you are doing? I've noticed flipping through that you've got a lot of pre-drawn designs. I don't know if they're for tattoos, but
those are all just for fun.
Yeah.
That whole flash book, the old 25-pound flash book.
Yeah.
That's just me just having fun and just drawing what I want to draw.
Do you find that people gravitate towards it? Do they?
Yes.
You tattoo that stuff a lot.
Yes. I still, you don't get somewhere, having a shop and getting rid of the people that made you who you are and got you where you go. So, those people 5 to 10 years ago, 12 years ago, that had me do things that I don't necessarily want to do, like angels and things like that. You don't just tell them to go fuck themselves. You say, all right, thank you for being a loyal client. I'll do that, flower with the butterfly for your cousin. Absolutely. But for the most part, I only do that more. I really don't know how to define it yet, but occult kind of looking, witchy kind of stuff. It's the only way I can, vampires and things like that,
Yeah.
That's what people will gravitate to me for. And believe it or not, the West Coast I get a better response on my work from the West Coast than I do at home.
Really?
Yeah, like
I was going to ask that. I don't know enough about the Philadelphia area. Is it does it lean towards a particular style? Is it
yeah, Americana, traditional, with like kind of like a whimsical feel, like somebody who does their take on Americana, not just taking a flash book from somebody from those common 3 to 5 flash books that move around every convention.
Right.
Instead of doing that, doing your own thing and being whimsical about it. That seems to be a bigger response in Philadelphia and the East Coast region, the Northeast, than neo-traditional. But it is coming up.
Yeah.
You still get requests for it. People now know the name neo-traditional.
Yeah. Is it a pretty supportive community in Philadelphia, tattoo community, or is it a competitive place? What's it
Well,
like?
as you probably already know, in the past, decade, it's exploded.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of shops, and there's a lot of transplants. The biggest thing I notice is people come together in the community when it comes to stopping tattoo schools. In Philadelphia, in Philadelphia, you have to do an apprenticeship.
Mm-hmm.
In Pennsylvania, you do not.
Oh, okay.
So tattooers tend to get together when a tattoo school opens up,
Mm-hmm.
and that's when it goes crazy, and everybody loves each other, and we're like, Stop this. We're stopping this.
Yeah. So when there's some common
Common
interest, common goal. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about talk for a second about running your own shop? How many artists do you have there?
I have 1, 2, 3. I have 3 right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
How much do you have space for? Is it a bigger space or is
It's a smaller
very-
space. It's about 1,000 square feet. So everybody gets about 120 square feet.
Yeah.
So comfortable.
Yeah.
About the size of a booth here. Not when it's split, but an actual booth.
Right.
Yeah. And it's
what-
open air, straight through.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. How long have you owned it?
5 years.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been 5 years now.
Good decision, I guess, or
It's got its up and downs.
Yeah.
It's a good decision in that, like, when you're in a shop and let's just say you've had your best friend that you are working for the past 7-8 years, you're both chiefs, and you can't have too many chiefs in a tribe.
Yeah.
So I did have to walk away and do my own thing because I wanted to be able to travel.
Yeah.
Do conventions. My old boss, he really isn't into the convention thing. He's more about staking his claim, keeping to it, and not letting go of that.
Yeah.
And I wanted to go and fly everywhere, and unfortunately, that means he's not making money.
Yeah.
So I had to go and do it for myself. That's the advantage.
Yeah.
And then also, I try to run it like a thoughtocracy where we all put in our ideas. And the best idea is the one that wins.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm looking for, even though they always do the default of, well, it's your shop.
Right.
I still want to know.
Yeah.
I still want to do that. So I try my best to, just be as easy about everything as possible. But, tattooers, we all have got personalities. We've all got our issues.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of us, have depression.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that kind of go into it, and
Yeah.
and there's a lot of new young tattooers, and they don't know yet about, like, when you get 10 years in, you look back at your 4-year and you go, I didn't know shit.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything. I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
Things like that.
Right.
So I'm going through it now on the other end,
Yeah.
where I look back at my bosses and go, wow, I should have done that differently, or I know why he said that because I just said it.
Right.
Like that kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. What experience level are the other artists in your shop?
They are both about 4 years, and then I have a girl who did her apprenticeship in Reading with a pretty decent shop, and then Reading is about an hour from my shop, so she doesn't have a huge client base yet.
Yeah.
So she's kind of in her first year with me, where
Yeah.
she's just developing clients and really getting out there, and she's doing really well.
That's good.
Yeah, I wouldn't have taken her if she wasn't
Yeah.
good.
And you can you're able to fly to the other side of the country and trust them
Yeah.
to show up, take care of business.
Yes.
Close up.
Yep.
Not leave the door unlocked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
That's good.
I pick people
Yeah.
strategically. Kurt has been a friend of mine for coming on 12 years.
Yeah.
Chris is a friend of Kurt's. He's been with me for a little over a year, but if Kurt trusts him, I trust him.
Yeah.
And then Alicia is new, but in the past year, she's obviously developed a friendship and a trust,
Yeah.
like bond and level with me, that I can fly away and then come back and
Yeah.
be like, it's not burnt down.
Yeah, perfect.
Oh my
Well,
God.
Great. Yeah, I think that's, most young tattoo, or not even young tattooers, people that have worked in shops for a long time, really kind of romanticize the idea of opening a shop and not having to split commissions or not having to, or being able to travel or do whatever. But it's a huge trade-off in the number of hats that you have to start to wear. And for the most part, we're good at drawing pictures, or we're not great at building processes or
Yeah.
systems or things that are repeatable and
You got to be
predictable.
very business minded.
Yeah.
or you have to have experience in business.
Or you have to hire somebody who does.
And you have to hire
Yeah.
somebody who does.
Right.
And that's a lot to juggle.
Yeah.
And I think I was just around the right people at the right time and learned a lot and was able to just kind of seamlessly move forward in that. But it still has its hiccups.
Yeah.
You know, it's.
Yeah. I know you've got a tattoo here in just a little while, but you want to tackle a viewer question with me real quickly?
Do a couple.
Let's grab one at random here. Oh, I picked up Evan's joke question. I'm not going to read that one again. Evan Qualls.
Pretty big.
Yeah, fucking that guy. Always screwing with us. Have you ever heard of Evan Qualls? Do you know him?
No,
at all?
I'm sorry.
Nice. All right, we actually asked this one at another convention, but it's always good to get this. What's the best way to market yourself at a convention? How do you? So you're
At
going
a convention.
You're going across the country to tattoo. Do you have any tricks for making sure that you have someone to tattoo when you get to Eugene from Pennsylvania?
A couple. Obviously, you know, your first time coming out is really important.
Yeah.
So when you do, what I would suggest is hashtags correctly.
Okay.
And you want to and to tag the correct people in it. So that's the beginning. Make sure that when you are doing your posts and the convention's coming up, you hashtag appropriately. You say not only Eugene tattoos, Evergreen Invitational. You also say Portland tattoos.
Yeah.
You say Springfield tattoos. You say all these surrounding areas, because these people are not just from Eugene. These people are from the whole area. So when you hashtag the surrounding areas, you're going to get a lot more people looking at that. And then and then when you come to the convention, you know, for me, I just try to overwhelm the flash book.
Yeah.
And really just show like everything in there, except for maybe one or two pieces I'm doing that weekend, is available. So to have variety, don't just put up 10 pieces up there and be like, this is what I'm doing this weekend.
Yeah.
You know, keep drawing, keep doing all that flash, and put it in a book.
Yeah.
And definitely have a consistency across everything at your booth. I find that, like, if my card doesn't match my banner, people look around, they're confused, they don't understand how to read words suddenly.
Right.
And then also just a nice portfolio. Like, the portfolio book is not for your shop. Your portfolio is for when you're traveling. And people want to instantaneously see it. So instantaneous that Instagram is beyond them. They want to see it right there on the book. No matter how many times you put your Instagram name up on your booth, they're going to look at the book right in front of them. They'll look at your Instagram later.
Yeah.
So, you know, have that book with all your bright, beautiful work in there, because bright is going to pull most people in. And then I guess lastly, don't just be that guy who sits there with his face all mad or he's upset because he's not tattooing on Friday before 5 o'clock. Everybody works till 5.
Yeah.
You're going to get people after 5 o'clock. You're not going to get people before then. So don't get all mad and mope and sit there. Stand up at your booth, smile, and talk to somebody.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do. It's really that easy. You know, people are really responsive to, you know, just kind.
Yeah.
Especially on the West Coast. Like East Coast, that you don't pull that off.
Right.
It's not as good as you think. Small talk is really small.
Yeah.
So definitely stand there and smile and talk to people.
Right.
You know, and you'll get it.
Right. I think that's such an important point, and it's something that, you know, years of traveling through conventions, if you go to any other convention in any other industry, people are waiting on you to engage or ask questions. They're standing at the front of their booth, and tattooing people, you know, headphones, sketchbook, working away. It's like, well, how would they even get your attention if they wanted to? It's the only industry that I've seen conventions act that way.
Yeah, I feel really bad when I'm tattooing and I don't have somebody work in my booth for me.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to bother you. They'll even say it like, I didn't want to bother you.
Yeah.
But here's $1 for the sticker.
Right.
You know, or you know, I really want to get one of your patches. Do you have time today? You know, you have to engage. And I'm not saying in the middle of your tattoo, look away.
Right.
Whatever your groove is that you need, you know, you got to wear headphones. At least just try to be upfront when you're not doing it.
Yeah.
And you'll probably have better luck.
Yeah.
That all of those things have worked for me.
Yeah.
I've never done a convention that I wasn't booked entirely for.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I've never done one, even Barcelona. And I had a lot of help. I had Henry Lewis come over to my booth and be like, I don't have time. Do you have time for this?
Oh, yeah.
Because I was an American.
Yeah.
So he was like, here you go. And I'm like, okay, awesome. He's
Yeah.
giving me this. Oh my God, you
Yeah.
know, like freaking out, man.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you know,
That's
like
nice.
you know, I no matter where I've gone, it's just been the consistency and then also being nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if it's not something you want to do, politely decline.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't do that.
Right.
I don't do that kind of work. I'm sorry.
I love the idea of overwhelming them with drawings and with Flash. It's a great way to kind of continue to do the pieces that you want to do. Not have otherwise you end up with people just wanting you to rework old stuff that's
Exactly.
so far outside of what you would do in your own shop. You're just like, well, I'm not doing anything. Yeah, I guess I'll do that for $60, sure. But if
Yeah. But you know what ends up happening?
What's that?
You're unavailable during that time
When
for that
someone-
person who does come up and
Exactly.
wants your Flash.
Yeah.
So you got to know when to hold them and when to fold them is
Yeah.
basically what it comes down to.
Yeah, it's amazing how many people come through and really don't know what they want, don't have a real idea. They may not even know that they want to get tattooed until they flip that page and see that piece, and they're like,
Yep.
oh, $300 for that? Yeah.
Easy. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's all great advice. Great advice. So, cool. I know you got to get to work. I just
Yeah.
wanted to sit down for a couple of minutes. If people want to find you on Instagram,
At The Rich Wren.
the Rich Wren,
Yeah.
and we will put that in the show notes. Website as well. We'll track down and put in there.
Solid.
And man, that's it. Thanks a lot for your
Awesome.
time. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Great to meet you.
Appreciate it. Likewise.
Thank you guys as always. We'll see you next time.